Why are more men going broke in 2025, my friend? It's not just inflation or the economy, it can't be. It's the choices we're making every single day. From bad investments to lifestyle traps, these mistakes are leaving men in literal financial quicksand. And I'm not immune to it, my friends. No one is. But there are ways, my friends, that we can avoid the same fate. So let's dive through this video together, my friends, and find out why more men are becoming broken worse with their financial decisions in 2025. Hello, my friends. My name is Vic. I'm a registered nurse and certified life coach turned personal finance strategist. And on this YouTube channel, I react to financial tips so you don't have to, saving you time, frustration, and hopefully you learn something along the way also, my friends, helping you get smarter with your money. If you're new to this video, my friends, and you're wondering who the hell is this guy, of course, I fully understand. You don't know me. You would not shake someone's hand in the streets that you don't know. Or maybe you would, I don't know. Let me show you a picture of my own financial and wealth journey so far, so you can decide for yourself whether you want to continue watching this incredible content that I have to show you. It's top notch, chef's kiss. Mwah. Hopefully now we know each other a bit more, my friend. This is important. And if you're a man, my friend, you need to listen up. And let's see why the downfall of men financially is continuing. Let's get ready to dive in. Please subscribe and share.
Sorry for the young guys coming up now, because when I was their age, I never had that pressure to be like, yo, you need to have drip, you need to have designer. Like, it was okay to rock H&M. It was okay just to go to Nando's, like, for a date, for example. Coming to me at 16 talking about Louis Vuitton, I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm just trying to play football. I'm just trying to get my GCSEs and play football. That was it. Like, that's all I knew. You might think it's all harmless, but for example, in my case, at the age of 23, I left my corporate job, left the chance of corporate security to go start my own business. And I could do that because, one, I lived at home with my mum. I don't know if a 23-year-old today can feel that way. They might feel way behind because they'll go on social media, see lifestyles that they just can't compete with or that they expect that they have to match.
And there's nothing quite like a cheeky Nando's with the boys, if you get what I mean, especially if you're from the UK. Comment down below if you remember that song from when we were younger. Oh my God, it was such a banger, so fun. Don't want to play it because I'll get copyrighted, but it was so fun. Such a good song. Such memories. But anyway, my friends, I'll stop digressing. I'll stop reminiscing. I do think that this lad actually explains a very pinnacle point of why men are making worse decisions, because I do feel that these expensive, extremely expensive, by the way, designer brands, they're absolutely crazy. I would personally go into a charity shop, something like this, to get my clothes, or even something that I really do actually like, going thrift shopping. I do think you find incredible clothes, secondhand clothes. It's sort of the same as a car. It's like, why would you buy a first-hand car when you can get the approved used car or a secondhand car? For me, as you know, you'd probably, if you watch my other videos, you know I'd go for approved used, but if you watch my other videos, you see why. I'm not going to explain in this video, but it's the same point. You don't need to spend that much money on something that's new when it does literally the same job. Especially with something like clothes, as long as it's in good condition and there's no rips and it still looks good, you can iron it. Like, why does it matter? If it looks good on you, buy it. Like, I don't understand. That's a lie, actually. I do think I understand it, because it's the etiquette around it when you walk around and when people are judging you, because we're just in this sort of society where people do judge. And I feel especially men, in my opinion, get judged more. I'm not saying anything against women, but in my opinion, men do get judged more. There's more that's expected of us. There's more challenges we have to face in general, especially in the dating game. Don't even get me started for most men. I'll just be quiet now before I keep digging myself the hole. But the main point of what this guy's saying is completely true. Let's have a look at some of the comments to see what they say. Nines, by the way, Nines is a UK rapper, said it best: the whole world's gone crazy, everybody want to be ballers. In my eyes, although this comment is true, the reason that men want to be ballers, I think it's brought up with the right intentions, but then you have these idealistic figures like Andrew Tate, who I don't disagree or agree with. I'm sort of neutral with him. I think in regards to business, I think he's excellent. With everything else, not so much at all. But I do think the reason men want to be ballers is, again, because of this influence of pressure that's sort of brought upon you. And it's incredibly difficult to buy a house now. The cost of living, as you guys have seen in my last video, if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it, because it's crazy, like, to think about the cost of living, how much worse it's become. You get what I mean? Especially in 2025. There's all of these myriads of things that are happening, and they're happening in one go. On top of that, you got the dating, like I aforementioned as well, which adds on to that as well. And it's sort of like you've got all these key elements to make a massive fire. You've got all the elements to ignite the fire, and not only to ignite the fire, but to build the fire to become wildfire. Because all of these sorts of things are quite negative. And then when you link them together, you can't expect a man to make good decisions, let alone good financial decisions, right? But in my opinion, I do fully think that we should all take our responsibility and hold our own accountability to everything that happens to us in life. If you point the finger of blame, as Alex Moses says, if you point the finger of blame towards someone else, wherever the finger points, that's where the control is. So if you actually look inwards and you point the finger towards you, you actually understand and you have the control that even if it's not necessarily your fault, it doesn't matter, you need to have the control over the problem, not the other way around. And by doing this, I'm certain that if men did this, men would make significantly better financial decisions because they want to educate themselves and grow in their own expertise and overall mindset. I'm not going to throw so much philanthropy bombs on you. That's not the point of this video. Let's have a look at more of these comments. Depends on your group. If you chill in a certain circle, maybe you just need to find yourself, become the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Again, this is literally one of the main reasons I started my online communities. Of course, you guys know I have to mention it because I do think it can help you. And I also want to build it with a community of like-minded men exactly for this reason. Because there's a community of people wanting to grow their wealth and to educate themselves on growing their wealth, and where all they talk about is growing their wealth, you would sort of think that the average thing to do would be to, well, grow your wealth with exchanging of ideas and making friendships and socializing. You don't even have to do it every day. You've just got the online community in your pocket at any time, access it whenever you want. And on purpose, my friends, I've done a 7-day free trial to see if you think it is for you. I'm not going to talk any more about it. Just look at the link below. Social media will definitely destroy your perspective at such a young age, especially with Gen Z now. I don't know Gen Z. I don't even know what generation I'm in, to be honest. The comments let me know what generation because I have no idea. But anyway, social media, in my opinion, is literally a virus. If you look at the wrong things. If you look at the right things, it can be completely the opposite. It can be the antidote. You know, it literally depends on what you look at. And that's why for me personally, I always, especially on Instagram and things I tend to go to, I always try to hide the posts that I don't want to see, like, you know, half naked chicks and just ridiculously steroid ripped guys that I'm never going to be able to achieve a physique like that because I just don't use steroids. I can achieve a good natural physique. Of course you can achieve a good natural physique, but you're never most likely going to achieve 90+% of the physiques that are on Instagram because people are literally paid to look the best way that they possibly can, and they get paid a good money for that. So why would you not think that they would do whatever they can in their power to look the best way they possibly can? Do you get what I mean? There's so many other notions that I can talk to you about, my friends, but it's so important, especially with finance. People showing you that they're making so much money. This is complete BS. The people that show you that they make a lot of money, in my opinion, they make the money because they're telling you they make lots of money. You fall for that trick and you actually make their money. It's literally like reverse psychology. It's actually incredible how it works. And then actually from that, they get rich. It's so weird how it works. Yeah, this is so real. Crying emoji face. Very sad. Very common to feel behind your peers, etc. But in reality, there's no shame in not being incredibly successful at a young age. 100%. In my opinion, you pick one thing. You stick with that one thing that you really like that is leveraged. In my opinion, that is the key word, especially for me doing this YouTube as well, me building my business and wanting to have the best online community for men socializing and wanting to grow their wealth. This is like my dream. You've heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. And I know that's very cliche, but it is true, my friends. Like, you literally can't build anything unless you do it so many times, over and over again, until it gets boring, and then you still do it more, and then it gets even more boring, but then you still do it more. It's like you literally, it just can't work any other way, my friends. It just doesn't work that way. To master something, you just need to keep doing it, where it's just second nature, like literally like you breathing, you know, and it's very, very difficult to achieve this. Anyway, my friends, there's a lot of good comments here, but let's move on to the next video, which I think you'll find really, really interesting.
Hey, you're a millionaire, right? Yeah, what's up? I feel like I'm financially behind in life. Why do you say that? Well, when I scroll through social media, it seems like everyone's making 20 grand in passive income every month. It's a common feeling these days. But here's some data that'll likely make you feel better. Over 70% of people here in the US are living paycheck to paycheck. There is no way that's true. Well, look it up. A study by payroll.org says that number is closer to 80%. On top of that, nearly 30% of people have less than $1,000 in savings. Wow. You're right. I'm starting to feel a bit better. Is there anything else? Slow down. Oh, shit. I was trying to tell you that the average person has a credit card balance of $6,500. Oh my gosh. I know, so don't feel so bad, okay? No, I mean, you are so out of shape. I'm a millionaire. Do you really think that that mother?
It's a very entertaining video, my friends. He seems like a very nice guy, and I think what he is saying is very, very true. I have actually looked at some stats, and actually in the UK where I live currently, that's actually the same, roughly the same as well, that people do live paycheck to paycheck. I do think the percentage isn't as high as 70%, but if you look at this figure right now that I'm about to show you, my friends, as you can see, the percentages here are significantly high, my friends, and these are all people that have run out of money at least once in the year. Move up to the next bracket and the next bracket, etc., etc., and actually that number will grow larger and larger, and the people that follow behind us, the number will be significantly even bigger in the next generation, because we would not be able to teach them what to do, because we wouldn't know what to do ourselves, right? So that's why it's more important now than ever, my friends, to actually know what to do and how to grow your money. How much people have in savings actually will shock you. But this overview, my friends, by UK Savings Statistics of 2024, very reliable website. 34% of adults had either no savings or less than £1,000 of savings, around that amount. That's a very, very big amount. But to me, my friends, what's even more worrying is that savings accounts are the most popular method for people to save, with over 57% saving money, and just saving money, even though we have to understand this, and I can't stress this enough, my friends. Again, I'm not recommending that you just invest. I'm not saying that, but I do, because I do think it's important to have an emergency fund, but you have to understand that your money in your savings account is depreciating. People just say inflation, but they will just throw it out as a buzzword. Like, you need to actually understand how it causes your money to depreciate. And it's actually, literally, like I always describe it, like Harry Potter's cloak of invisibility. Your money costs less and less every single year because of the depreciating power that your money has, because it can't beat the rise of inflation compared to the interest that you get on your savings. So therefore, you're literally depleting money every single year. Inflation on average is around 3%. UK savings accounts are on average around 1%, and that's for a high yield savings account. You can, of course, get 2 and 3%, but then you'd be on par with inflation. And most years, let's be honest, inflation is actually getting higher and higher. You can quickly see how you are losing money every single year, or at least I hope you can. This stat also shocked me as well. Almost around 65% of people believe they wouldn't be able to last 3 months without borrowing money, aka that means borrowing in terms of like credit, form of credit, or from family, etc. That basically means that they do not have an emergency fund of at least 3 months. Just 3 months, not even 6, of at least 3 months. That, in my opinion, shows that actually the spending habits of the people in the UK are not that decent, the decision making is not that decent, and just the overall financial intuitive behind them is not, again, that decent. This is my opinion. I don't mean to be rude to anyone, of course, I want to be fully respectful, but this is, from what I'm seeing here, this is what it looks like. And furthermore, actually going back to what the guy said, he was actually saying that the average person in the US has a credit balance of £6,500 that they owe the credit card companies, meaning that there's £6,500, $6,500 in debt. Let me just show you a chart of how big it is, because actually quite a few people don't pay off their debt. And if that's the average debt in the US, you can imagine. I want to show you how quickly this debt can accrue, because I don't think people can quite visualize it. So let me just show you my amazing maths that I use ChatGPT for. So let me just show you right now. That's with, of course, no payments at all. So you can quickly see how it accrues. But most importantly, my friend, the reason why debt is so cruel is because even if you know what to do with investing, right? Even if you did, right? And you're the best investor in the world, even if you did. But because you're in debt, and let's say you're making an average income as well, you're not able to pay that debt off quickly enough. You can definitely pay it, but it will take a couple of years potentially, or at least a few months to pay it off, right? So then, because you don't have that patience and delayed gratification, it will actually reduce your own compound growth for your money to grow over time, because you're actually able to contribute less to it in the moment for investing, because you have to pay it off for debt. And that money isn't actually being utilized for anything, because you could have just not gone into debt in the first place, save the money, buy it with cash, so you don't have to be in debt. This is why, in my opinion, this is why I'm so debt averse. Of course, I understand sometimes we need to take debt. I get that, especially like things like mortgages. You can't exactly pay a house in cash unless you have loads of money. You're an extremely successful businessman, or a celebrity, or nowadays a corn star, but whatever, those people are just idiots. And because the cost of living is increased, people are going to go more into debt. So please, if you can, my friends, again, I'm not recommending, I'm not saying you should, but equally, just please try not to get into debt. If you can avoid it, just don't get into debt, my friends. Unless if you actually make a plan and you actually know the plan and you know that you will make money in the long term from it. You know, it just makes sense. But most people just take the debt because they need the money. And because it's a need, normally there's a sense of urgency and there's no plan. So therefore you make irrational decisions and then go into more debt, make more irrational decisions, and then you fuck your life up. There actually surprisingly wasn't any good comments to react to this video. So let's just move on to the next one, my friends. And I think, listening to this guy. If you think this guy looks like Rag and Bone Man, I'm pretty sure that's his name, comment down below to see if you agree with me or not, or what musical artist you think he looks like, because he definitely looks like a musical artist to me, and I think it's Rag and Bone Man, but yeah. So let's have a look.
If you're one of these people that thinks that they should be doing a lot better in life or a lot farther along, and you're wondering why it seems like so many other people are doing so much better, like they have the house, or they just got new cars, or they're going on trips or whatever, I'm here to tell you that most of the time it's all smoke and mirrors. I live in a very affluent part of the city that I live in. I'm in the parent pickup line right now, and you can see 2025 Suburbans, Range Rovers, brand new F-350s. And when I first started, taking our kids to this school, I was like, what are these people doing? Like what do they do for work that I'm not doing? I started to get to know these people, and I figured it out, okay? And I'll tell you that I know personally one of these folks that their kids go to this school. They have a 5-bedroom house. They have a truck that's worth over $100,000. They have a pool that they just spent $60,000 to redo, okay? And they are in crippling debt. Let me say that again. Crippling debt. Like, you sit here and wonder, how are they paying for all this? They're not. They're not paying for all this, okay? It's all smoke and mirrors. People see these things, and it's discouraging for them, because they're like, God, why don't I have that? What am I doing wrong that they have that, and I don't have these things, and I don't have my stuff together? The outside looking in is not what it always appears to be. If you have a job that pays your bills, and you're able to go out to eat a couple nights a week, and you have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month to put in savings if you want to, you're doing pretty good, man. Don't let social media and celebrities and influencers and people that portray this outward image make you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. You're doing pretty good.
I mean, as we just saw from the previous video, people are actually struggling to save a lot of money. Whether UK, US, or in any other big country, people are struggling to save, my friends. And this is just an emergency fund, let alone investing. If you actually look at the stats, it will say people do actually invest, but I can literally I could just invest into Apple today just because it's Apple, and that would classify me as investing. But that is not actually a strategized plan to invest. Again, my friends, in my online communities, I'm not strategizing or recommending anything necessarily to you, like making an actual plan, but it's about the discussions that actually will provide you with the knowledge to be able to go off and be able to grow your money, my friends. Because discussions and debates makes the world go round, and just actually having a like-minded place to be able to have these conversations literally is more than worth it. And it's something for me that personally I wish I had, which is in essence why I made these online communities anyway. But the thing is, my friend, what this guy's saying is absolutely true. There's this idiom which I'm pretty sure you guys have heard, which is called keeping up with the Joneses. It just means that you're constantly keeping up with the people that are around your social circle, whether that's your neighbors, whether that's your friends, or whoever it is. Someone buys a new car. I remember actually this happened to me, and you could probably relate to something similar. When I was younger, not now, and this isn't why I bought my car, but when I was younger, when I was like 18 or 19, my friend was actually very privileged to be able to actually get a Mercedes A-Class and a really nice AMG Line 1. So it was very, very fortunate, very good. And I remember I was extremely, extremely jealous. And I remember I was actually feeling very bad in myself at that time when I was like 19, this was ages ago, that I didn't have this. But actually, my friends, when I reframe my mindset into understanding what's behind this idiom, which is actually you borrowing money, and this is what a lot of people do, which is actually borrowing money, buying things you don't need to impress people you don't care about, it actually not only cripples your finances, but it cripples your mindset and mental health as well. By the way, if you have done this, my friends, I don't want you to feel upset, because I'm sure a lot of people have done this, but the whole point is that you accept it and you identify it and that you actually do something about it, my friend. There's this theory, and it's called hedonic adaptation, which basically means that when there's any major life events or changes, let's say you got an increased income, or you won the lottery, or your business takes off and you have a lot more money, that you'd actually spend more money. And because you're actually spending more money, will actually increase your happiness, right? So you start from here and actually increase your happiness, but then actually it plateaus back down to where it was very, very quickly. And again, it becomes the stabilized norm for you, my friends, because you just hedonically adapt to that situation, which actually goes to show that no matter how much money you have, if you're not happy within yourself, you will never be happy. Money is crucial though. It's literally, my friends, like sex in a relationship. A relationship, the emotional intimacy can be incredible, but if you do not have regular sex, my friend, that relationship is ruined, in my opinion anyway. Maybe a bit inappropriate, my friends, but in my opinion, it is the truth. You don't know the actual financial situation of someone else, even if it looks like they're living the life that you want to be living. The wealthiest people I've seen are actually very different to the ones that I inspire to be like, and inspire in regards to what they look like rather than what they actually are, which is a lot of people on social media, which is what they look like, right? That's why I personally try to stay off social media except YouTube, because obviously my online business is here. Plus, I can give you guys a lot of free content here to help you out anyway for you to watch. So we help each other in this essence, do you get what I mean? But my friends, if you're not happy in yourself, and if you don't reframe your mindset to understand yourself better, doesn't matter how much more money you have, doesn't matter how good your business is, doesn't matter how good of an investor you are. It's all about the mindset as well as understanding everything else. And this is something that I've really worked on myself that significantly helped me, and that actually one of the main reasons why I really feel I'm heading in the right direction towards my dreams. The same can be done for you as well, my friend. Don't look at anyone else or compare yourself to anyone else. You can ask others for help, but it's very, very different, my friends, when you ask someone for help compared to when you actually compare yourself, because you're actually influencing your own inner thoughts by yourself, and you're actually almost bullying yourself if you think about it, thinking, why am I not like this? Why am I not this good? My friends, this is the wrong question. Anyway, I do apologize, my friends, to digress with philanthropy. I don't mean to do that. I just really do enjoy that topic as well. And I do my best to blend it in with finance. So please let me know down below in the comments if I'm doing a good job at that. It'll be good feedback for me as well for future videos. Let's look at some of the comments. First comment, perfect. Comparison is the thief of joy. I'm running my own race. Exactly, as you should. I work in the mortgage industry, review bank statements and credit reports all day. You are 1000% correct. That's very good, because that's actually the exact person you want to be listening to, as people who actually reviews the bank statements, especially people in the mortgage industry, because they actually see exactly what's going on, because obviously mortgage is a massive loan, so they have to know that you're going to be able to pay it off back. And I'm sure that they see crippling debts, but because they can pay it off, even if it's with debt, it's their own decision. Because at the end of the day, my friends, if someone's compos mentis has full mental capacity, it's their own decision at the end of the day. Richest man I've ever met drove a 2008 Ford Focus and shopped at Old Navy. That's really changed my perspective on money and wealth. Me too, my friend. Even that comment and everyone else I've ever seen. I mean, for me personally, I like driving a nice car. I like having a nice house, but it doesn't need to be some Lamborghini and a mansion. That is not my actual idea of happiness. My idea of happiness is just be able to definitely make enough money to pay off all my expenses, and then maybe be 2 or 3 times more than that for myself every single month, so I can actually go away with my family or with a girlfriend and just actually be able to know that money's not an issue anymore. That's my dream. And that's genuinely what I think most men actually aspire to be, is just to know that they're the man, but not in a physique sort of way, you know, just to know that financially they could support not only themselves, but everyone around them who they love. Because there is nothing worse than not being able to support the people you love, my friends, especially financially. Because other than, of course, communication and intellectual support, that's probably the next most important one. And it plays a massive role, especially with the cost of living crisis. Never understood the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. Yeah, exactly. This is the idiom. This is what I explained to my friend with hedonic adaptation as well. I hope I explained it, and I hope it makes sense to you, my friends. Let me know again in the comments below if it made sense to you. I would drive my 2003 Subaru until it dies. Stop wasting money on cars, people. True. If you look at my other videos, my friends, you obviously see my opinion on this. I'm not going to bother sharing it on this because we're going to get into a different topic mentioned in my last video, I'm pretty sure as well. So do make sure to check it out, because yeah, I do have a slightly different opinion, but it sort of agrees and reciprocates with what Dara is saying as well. Okay, so now we have a UK lad. I think I actually really enjoyed watching this video, because I think it'll be very helpful to a lot of you people watching, my friends. So this is actually something I already cover in my online communities. Plus you can actually talk to me about this because you have direct access to me. But nonetheless, my friends, I think this video will really help you. So let's have a look at it.
Do not start investing in 2025 until you do these 3 things first. Number 1, open a stocks and shares ISA. And I hope you already know what this is, but for anyone who doesn't, it's a special type of account that you can open in the UK that exempts you from paying any tax on the gains and dividends that you make once your portfolio is active and you start investing. Number 2, you need to work out if you're actually financially fit and able to start putting your money into the market. What I mean by this is you have to ask yourself the following questions. Firstly, do you have any life events on the horizon that take priority, i.e. where the money would be better spent? This could be something like a wedding or buying a house. Secondly, do you have 3 to 6 months of your living expenses saved up for a rainy day? Because this is vital. And lastly, can you afford to lose the money that you invest? If your answer to all of those questions is yes, then congratulations, you are financially fit and ready to start investing. Now, number 3 is to get educated. You need to understand that 99% of what you've seen or heard about the world of investing is probably unrealistic and fake. It's a long-term game, not a quick fix to getting rich, and you should be thinking in intervals of 10 years plus if you're actually serious about your investing journey.
The stocks and shares ISA, my friend, is without a doubt, in my opinion, the best investment vehicle for you to actually become wealthy over time. Obviously, no wealth is guaranteed, my friend, because it's with investing. All investing is risky no matter what, and I'm not recommending anything to you, of course, nor would I ever, but I can't say to you that it is impossible, because I'm currently doing it myself and I know it works. Obviously, I can't go into the future, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, and come back and tell you, look, I have this amount of money, you should have listened to it. That's not the point, you get what I mean? It's because no one can do that. So it's just sort of something that you have to get educated on and just trust the process with, which exactly as this guy's saying. I would say the first thing, 100% in my opinion, is open the stocks and shares ISA. That in my opinion is the best thing. You can actually get up to £20,000 completely tax-free. It's a complete tax wrapper and it's completely exempt from those taxes and just any in general. Like you can literally take it into your income and it's fine. It's exempt from income and capital gains tax. And most importantly, my friends, you don't even need to put the money in as cash. When you actually put it in, you can actually invest it into an accumulation fund or an income fund, depending on your goals. And of course, I'm not recommending you do any of this. I'm just explaining it. You could actually set it up and automate it in such a way that in, let's say, the accumulation fund, which is for me personally what I do. I've set it up so all my dividends, when they're paid biannually in the fund that I'm in, they're automatically reinvested for me to buy more accumulation units of that fund, so that actually I put even more money in and I grow my wealth even more over time. And this is genuinely something that I think anyone can do. Obviously, my friends, it does help and it is easier when you're around people that actually do this for themselves, so then you can actually discuss it anyway. You can actually improve yourself in your own financial journey by yourself when you're surrounded with people that actually do this themselves. Hint, hint. I'm only joking. But it's true, my friend, because you are the average of the people you surround yourself with. In terms of the 3 questions, in terms of like what your priority is right now, the emergency fund of obviously 3 to 6 months, which I always preach and I always say it's very, very important. And the money that you invest, can you afford to lose it? Me personally, my friends, I do think with the number 1 question, I do think you should organize your finances. Like I've said before with my EISF framework, which I've talked about in the other videos. I'm not going to talk about it too much right now just because I don't want it to take too long, this video. But I do think with your monthly paycheck, you should have a system, and your actual payday routine should be systemized by yourself to actually treat investing as a cost, so it comes out like a direct debit from your account and it's already invested. And this is, in my opinion, this is what I personally do. This is my opinion. I do think affording what you can lose is very, very important. But again, my friend, it depends on your risk tolerances. So I made this diagram for you and I'll show you this. As you can see, my friends, as your level of understanding increases, your level of risk actually is mitigated. It doesn't mean the thing will be less risky. It just means that your understanding of it, even if it's risky, reduces. So let's say you went into like a crypto project or a fund or whatever it is, right? If your level of understanding is really high of that one thing, even if it's risky, you understand that it's risky. Does that make sense? So your level of risk is actually mitigated because you understand it's risky, meaning that you understand what you can potentially lose. Whereas if you have less understanding of the topic, your level of risk is actually significantly higher because you don't understand it. So it could be significantly risky, but you don't know it, you don't understand it, so therefore you can't make an efficient plan. Compared to if you did have a high level of understanding, then you can actually make an effective plan and you understand the risk, so you actually mitigate the risk by doing that. You actually mitigate your own risk by doing that, by understanding that it could potentially be risky. If it didn't make sense, please leave a comment down below and I'll explain it further if you want me to. But in my opinion, it's a very, very important concept, my friend, that you need to understand. And this for me personally, even the money that I'm actually saving up for a house, that money is actually invested because I'm aware that it's going to be in a couple years time. Do you get what I mean? So it's like I'm aware of the situation. Even if it may be risky, I understand the risk. And of course, I've got a plan B to ensure that I actually do accomplish my goal of buying a house anyway. This final point this lad mentions, my friend, this is something I absolutely preach about in my online communities. And this is why actually I feel my online communities do work. This is just in general, by the way, not just in regards to my online communities, but this is just in general. Many people here online think that investing should be hard. It should be very difficult, literally like options trading. And that, by the way, is, I feel investing should be lazy, right? You should obviously know your stuff. You should know what you're doing. You should know the funds and projects you invest in, right? But I feel it should be lazy. Like the best investors, like Warren Buffett, they're lazy investors. And I say this respectfully and nicely, of course. Obviously, Warren Buffett actually invests into actual companies, solely into them. It's a bit different, of course. He doesn't just invest into index funds. It's just that investing should really be lazy and should not take up too much time. The thing that does take up too much time is your consistency and your accountability. That is where I feel the actual community is really, really strong, because that means you will be motivated through this journey, because it's a very, very long journey and you will be motivated through it. You can discuss new things as well, talk about different projects and just talk about money in general. And then when you do that, it's very difficult not to actually become better with money, it's very difficult to not make better financial decisions. It's very difficult to not manage your money better, right? Because we learn from each other's mistakes in general anyway. And the more people that are in the community, the more mistakes, the more we actually learn in general anyway. So whether you learn or whether you make a mistake doesn't really matter. There's no such thing as failure. You just learn either way. So therefore you just become better in general with this. And that is why, my friends, I really feel it's so powerful, and it's very difficult to fail when you have a community of people that just want to improve themselves financially, and even just as men in general. Anyway, my friends, I didn't mean to talk so much about the community, but I think it just made sense to link it in with what this guy was saying, because I do think a lot of people think it's a quick fix. It's not a quick fix, but if you could take something that's not a quick fix, because everyone thinks getting rich is quick, and obviously every single time they fail and lose money and then they say, oh, they scammed me, whatever, right? I mean, they've been scammed because they're looking for a quick fix. Quick fixes don't happen. But what if I told you that actually if you delayed your gratification and you looked on a long enough time horizon, you obviously, I'm not saying 100% you're going to be guaranteed to do anything, right? Guaranteed to make lots of money, but I can definitely guarantee that you will be way better off than if it was a quick fix, because wealth loves time. Therefore, you need to give it time to grow. It's like a tree. When you plant the seed, you can't expect the tree to grow within a year or 2 years. You know, you're going to see some growth, but you can't expect it to actually blossom into the tree. It'll take 50, 100 years, you know, it'll take a long time for it to actually be a big tree. And it's the same concept with money, my friends. Because otherwise, in this metaphor, if you judge the tree from its growth in 1 year, then you'll never fully appreciate its actual potential growth in 100 years. Because when you look at things like this in a short time horizon, you've actually got the wrong perspective. You're looking at the right thing, but you're looking at it from the wrong perspective, my friend. I hope that made sense. Let's look at the comments. What app I download? There's obviously multiple apps. There's like Trading 212, eToro. I mean, there's many, many different apps. Personally, the brokerage I use is Hargreaves Lansdown. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, shape or form, but I do think they are the best in the UK, in my opinion. And it's a very, very easy platform to use. And if you were to want more guidance about this, I do actually talk about it in my community. Plus, you can actually have direct access to ask me about this as well. Can I open a stocks and shares and a lifetime ISA in the same tax year? Yeah, my friend, I mean, you can literally open those ISAs like it's no problem. The thing is what happens is every single person, me, you, whoever, we all have £20,000 tax-free money per tax year, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that in the lifetime ISA, the maximum amount you can put in an ISA for the lifetime ISA every year is £4,000, plus the government give you an additional 1,000, right? So because you put the £4,000 in plus the additional 1,000, that's actually £5,000. If you put the £4,000 in, that means that your £20,000 is actually now £16,000. So in your stocks and shares ISA, in that tax year, you can contribute £16,000. If you contribute any more to that, any gain on the first pound after the 16,000 in this example will be taxed if you take it out as income, or when you take it out as income, it would be taxed because technically it's not within your financial allowance for that year. So just something to bear in mind, my friends. And don't day trade. I did this at 17 and lost 3 grand. Remember the quick fix, my friend? Respectfully to A Naranara, I think this is how you pronounce his name. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that day trading doesn't work. I'm just saying it's significantly harder than what people think. The people that actually make money off it are, in my opinion, actually incredibly, incredibly skilled, very skilled people. And even when they're very skilled, it's very stressful. And it's not what these people are making it to be like online. It's significantly more stressful than that. It's not like you make one trade on the weekend and then you're set for the week or set for the month or whatever, right? Because if that was the case, then everyone would do it. Do you get what I mean? It does take up a lot of time, a lot of research that I don't think people don't see, because you can make the trade in a few minutes, but the research and understanding you have to do will take hours upon hours upon hours on end. For me personally, I prefer the long-term fix that is significantly more guaranteed. Obviously, I can't say guaranteed because nothing can ever be guaranteed when it comes to investing, but it's the most reliable thing to being guaranteed, especially when compared to quick fixes. So if you're wanting to build wealth, you have to allow wealth to grow with time, like the seed growing into a tree, my friend. You have to allow time. Very informative. Everyone who live in UK needs to hear this. 100%, my friends. Especially the guys who want to improve their finances. 100%, this is, in my opinion, the best account. I'm not, again, recommending, this is my own opinion, this is the one I use, but it's something that you should consider and look at. I just invest £25 a week. My friends, you could invest that if you want. Even £25 a week is £100 a month. That is incredible. And this guy's actually weekly cost averaging, which is actually very good if you can do that. I always feel cost averaging is the best way to actually grow your account sustainably, because then you're actually creating a more reliable metric by coming in at different price points rather than putting in one huge lump sum at one point and then it can come crashing down or going up. But then regardless, whatever happens, because you put so much money at one time, eventually the market will go down. But it's just to keep on doing it at different price points. So then even if it goes up or down, doesn't matter, you will be okay. I have a very good final video to show you from one of my favorite role models in the UK, Mark Tilbury. So let's have a look at this, my friends. I think this is the one that you're going to find actually most shocking, and I can't say I fully agree with it, but let's have a look.
I'm not saying don't buy your partner gifts. I'm actually going one step further. I don't think you should have a partner at all. According to the National Retail Federation, the average person will spend around $103 on Valentine's Day gifts per year. Now, I know that doesn't seem like a huge deal, but that's just one occasion. You will need to budget about $100 minimum for birthdays, Christmas and anniversaries as well. Let's throw in the extra $15 a month for flowers and you're looking at an extra $180. That's over $580, and we haven't even started on those little surprises throughout the year or times that call for bigger presents. When I was building my wealth, I wasn't looking for anything long term because I knew I wasn't the man I wanted to be yet. So if you want to become rich, I suggest staying single and focusing on building your empire. You'll have more time and money to invest in yourself and your future. And who knows, maybe you'll find someone who shares your financial goals and ambitions along the way.
Now, Mark, of course, my friend, I absolutely think is a fantastic guy. He's one of my mentors that I actually watch online. I've learned a lot from him. So I'm definitely, of course, not going to diss him. Or maybe, no, I'm joking. But everything that he's saying is, I do think, correct. Obviously, Mark is significantly wealthier and richer than I am, of course. I do think, though, when it comes to him saying in terms of these things with a partner, I do understand what he's saying and I do think he's correct. But I do think for those people that do have partners currently, and if you're a man watching this right now and you have a partner, I don't want you to be discouraged and thinking that actually, no, I'm going to dump my partner and I'm going to fuck off and make loads of money. Because actually, in my opinion, my friends, I feel like I've had a different view in the last 6 months to a year in terms of this, because I would say I had the same mindset that money is super essential. It's like in a relationship, my friends. It's like, and I'm sure guys will understand this, I'm sure anyone will understand this really, but if you don't have sex in a relationship, it's not everything, but it's super important. It's the same thing with money, my friends. It's not everything, but again, it is super, super important. Like, you need to have it to be able to make things work. However, my friends, I do think there is a bit of a bigger thing to money, and that is the emotional investment into someone. And I think it depends on how you look at those things. Because if you keep thinking to invest financially, which is how I did as well, and of course it will benefit you significantly, and it will benefit you in terms of your business, spending your time to focusing on growing your assets, growing your business and everything like this. However, though, my friends, if you actually do have and find a woman, this is to guys specifically that I'm talking about right now, so obviously you can relate it to yourselves depending on your situation, but if you actually find a woman that actually understands that you're busy, and not only understands but supports you in your own business endeavors. Also, if she's kind, caring and respectful, I do think, my friend, it shouldn't be something that you should dismiss. If anything, in my opinion, it actually will make you better individually as a person, selfishly, and from a relationship perspective as well. Because at the end of the day, my friends, if you want children, like I know I want children, I want to build a family of my own. I want to be a loving husband, a loving father, and be financially free and be able to financially provide for my whole family. I think every good man would want this. Because obviously I could be wrong. This is my own opinion, of course, not speaking on behalf of all men. But using Mark Tilbury's example, my friend, let me just show you and swap the screen over so I can show you financially what it could look like if you did invest the money that you would lose out, other than if you're in a relationship. And let's just see if it's worth it. As you'll see later on in this channel, you'll see I love this calculator and I use it in a lot more of the examples. But my friends, I do want to show you what I mean. So let's use Mark Tilbury's example. So he said $580 a year on estimates, and obviously excluding surprises and stuff like this, right? Let's even take it up a notch and say someone spends $1,000 on their partner, which I think they're really spoiling their partner. But anyway, let's say that happens. Obviously, this is excluding, you know, paying for dinners and stuff like that, which obviously would contribute to it because you technically do go out and make those memories, etc. But this goes on with what I'm going to say later on, and it's not going to take too long, so don't worry about that. Let's say it's $1,000 you spend on your partner, spoiled partner, well, whatever. Let's say there's a nominal interest rate of return, which is before inflation, of around 10%, which is quite average in index funds, depending on which one you pick. But that's on like the average of like the S&P, for example, right? So if we do like a 30-year time period, for example, and if we do $1,000 here, but on a yearly scale, so that's $1,000 every single year, so not every month, because otherwise it won't be right, it won't work. Let's click on calculate. So this would mean that you're essentially missing out on basically around 200,000. This is $1,000 every single year that you would spend to your partner. Obviously, if I increase this number to 45 years, it will be a way bigger sum, but let's say 30 years, or even if it's, 45 years, let's say with 1,000, even if it's 45 years, my friends, it would probably be, 922,000. So obviously it would be a lot of money. However, this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Even though I don't disagree with Mark by any means, and I do think there is a hidden cost in there as well, which is your time, because obviously in terms of growing your business, you could actually add a lot more time and then that'll make you even more money, which you could invest more money and then grow your money even more. So it does make sense completely. However, that you shouldn't actively be trying to find a partner, you should actively be trying to grow your business, etc. And if by any means you stumble across someone along the way that actually sort of resonates with all your finances and ambitious goals in general, then it's fine. Even though after 30 years with $1,000 spent on your partner every single year would amount potentially, based on speculation, to $200,000, as we saw in the example, or after 45 years would amount to close to $1 million, as seen on speculation in the example I just shown. Even if that's the case, the emotional investment and the memories you'll make, and in regards to how that'll make you feel internally, is nothing compared to that money, in my opinion. Because I think if you yourself are internally happy with the person you're with, that will actually be shown around in your business, in your investments, in everything that you do. I think to grow your wealth, the most important thing is your peace of mind. If you have a partner that brings you peace of mind, obviously peace of mind is attained by yourself, it's your responsibility. But if you have a partner that supports that and you both work well together, then it sort of makes sense, my friend, at least for me anyway, that I would prefer to sacrifice that to build an emotional investment with someone else to actually be able to build a strong and loving family. I think that is for me what's also important. We can't ignore that. I think as a man, there's the triad, there's the 3 points to the triangle, and that is fitness and your health, relationships and business. And as a man, to reach this overall self-actualization of your overall self-fulfillment, you need to be good in all 3 of these aspects. But realistically, my friend, if you focus on all of them at once, it's quite difficult. Definitely link all of them together, but it's just understanding that one day one of your business will be a priority, another day your relationship will be a priority, another day your fitness will be a priority. You can't really make all 3 a priority at the same time. I'd say the most you can make a priority is 2, in my opinion. And I know I may be talking bollocks right now, and I'm sorry if this doesn't make sense, but I hope I'm doing a good job at explaining it, because I do think it's important that you understand, and I do personally feel that although I agree with what Mark is saying, I do think it's equally important to have that emotional investment into your partner, to grow your memories, to actually go and travel, kill it with your finances, but also kill it in life as well by having fun, and also freeing your mindset to let go every once in a while. I definitely feel, in my opinion, that you can do both. But at the end of the day, my friend, it depends what life you want to live. Because if you really do want to be making crazy 8-9 figure a year, or even some people a month, which is crazy, but happens in revenue, businesses, I guess obviously this is a different mindset, this is a different shift. But at the end of the day, my friends, everyone's different. And I think what you need to find out is what's important for you. And if you truly think earning $100 million or pounds every single year will actually make you happy, then do it. If you don't, then don't do it. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong. It just matters what you want in yourself. Don't forget and don't neglect your relationships or your fitness and your health. There's no point of being rich if you don't have healthy relationships with someone you love, and if you're not physically fit as well. In my opinion, it just doesn't make sense. Anyway, I hope that made sense, my friend. Sorry if we went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I do think it was important that I shared it with you, because I do think it's important that you understand. I think everyone's always talking about working and making more money and more money, but then getting fitter in the gym, and they forget, especially as a man, all very important. But I do think the one thing that we do forget is actually that building a strong relationship actually does take time, it does take effort, it does take compromise, and you can't ignore that as well, especially if you want a loving family and to be with a loving wife. You need to have those tough conversations, you need to have those challenges, and the same thing with money. As wealth loves time, relationships love time as well. Anything grows with time. I hope you sort of get what I mean, my friends. There are 2 videos here right now that will pop up on the screen that YouTube recommends that you watch next, my friends, and I'll see you next in one of these 2 videos.